Hello everybody, I'm PooBeee and welcome back to another Sims 4 video. And guess what? Dun, 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 dun. It's the finale of our gorgeous Howl'S Moving Castle adventure. In this video we are decorating the inside of our castle, and if you'd like to see how I made the moving castle itself, check out the link in the description below and you'll find the link to part 1. I am so incredibly happy how this build turned out, and I'm totally in love with it. My favourite parts of the build is the garden, as I feel it's so magical and romantic. I find it very nostalgic as well, as it's the one part of this build that reminds me the most of the film. Especially where, spoiler alert if you haven't watched the film already, where Sophie and Howl kiss at the end on the little wooden plank poking out on the garden. It's just too cute, I can't take it. My second favourite part of this build is Howl's room. I wasn't too sure how I was going to do it at first, as I wanted to base it off of his real room in the film, which is full to the brim with brightly coloured trinkets, charms and magical detectors. But there isn't anything like that in The Sims 4. So I had to improvise with loads of random junk, books, and I also used children's ceiling mobiles. You know, the little dangly things with stars and moons? Yeah, you'll see that later on, but we get to that part. Howl's Moving Castle is my second favourite Studio Ghibli film, and Princess Mononoke being number 1, of course. I'm thinking of doing a Studio Ghibli Sims speed build series. That's pretty hard to say. Of all the iconic buildings from my favourite films. Oh, and by the way, I'm so sorry if I say Studio Ghibli wrong. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. I probably am, and I never know how to pronounce it, so I'm incredibly sorry. If you haven't seen Howl's Moving Castle already, you really should. It's about a young hatter named Sophie who encounters a wizard named Howl on her way to visit her sister Letty. When she returns, she meets the Witch of the Waste, who transforms her into a 90-year-old woman. Sophie is looking to break the curse, so she leaves home and sets off through the country, which eventually leads her to Howl's Moving Castle and gets caught up in his resistance to fight for the king. This film is all about love, loyalty, and the effects of war. Also, this build is now available to download on the Sims 4 gallery under the name Howl's Moving Castle. Or you could probably just search my origin ID name PooBeee. And so, let's get on with the speed build. This room I like to call Calcifer's room. Not very original, but you get it, you get the gist. Calcifer is a little flame who, if I remember right, controls Howl's Moving Castle. He's the little guy who moves it. And he lives in the fireplace that I've built over there. There you go, you can see it. I'm currently just placing down furniture. Surprising, there's not actually that much furniture in this room, really, if you think about it. It's more just clutter. There's so much clutter in this build. But luckily, clutter is one of my favourite things to do. Placing odd little random chairs and little features like that around. It gives it a homely, messy feel. When I first built this room, I made it really short, and it was hard to fit everything in without it looking too cluttered. Like, I wanted to make it look very, very cluttered, but it just looked like it was all too much. It looked like it was all too small. So I ended up extending the room by quite a lot, and I love how it turned out. I was so incredibly lucky with how this build, like with building the whole castle. I didn't plan these rooms when I built the castle. So I'm so lucky at how it all fits in very nicely. Also, I got rid of any harsh lighting because I liked the very soft lights. I felt like it gave me that real homely look. As I'm sure you can tell by now, this room is going to be full of clutter. But if you remember when Sophie first came to the castle, it was an absolute mess. It was rubbish everywhere, it was dirty, there was clutter everywhere. And then she gave it a good old clean up. So I wanted to give those two images and put them together. So it's still the same look after she cleaned it up, but I still kept all the clutter because I love clutter. It wouldn't be Howl'S Moving Castle without the clutter anyway. Also, I know this isn't in the film, although I think, if I remember right, there is a kitchen in the film, but I couldn't figure out where it would be in the castle. But I added a tiny little kitchen. There it is, yeah. Well, you need a kitchen. But that was the only place I could think of to put it, and it's so small, but it does the job. Because I was going to make one of the rooms upstairs a kitchen, because that was the only room I had left and I didn't know what to do with. But it didn't really make sense to have a kitchen upstairs when the dining room was downstairs. So I ended up fitting it in. And I think it looks lovely. Oh yeah, do you remember when at the beginning of the film Sophie lived under the stairs? I even put that little room in as well. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but luckily, the way that I built the castle, it all just fitted in. It was meant to be. Oh yeah, you know that circle thing? I don't know what I'd call it. But I just added it by the door. I added that there to represent the spinning colour wheel that they have next to the door that leads to different places. Because obviously there's not one of those in The Sims, so I thought that would give it would represent it. Also, I put a face in the not the furnace. What's it called? I can't think of the word. Fireplace! There we go. My brain just farted. I didn't fart, my brain did, don't worry. I put a face in the fireplace because that's what it looks like in the castle, which I didn't realise until I was looking back at pictures and I was like, oh, there's a face. So I tried my best to replicate that. Now, I think we're done with this room. I think we're just adding the finishing touches. These half rugs saved my life with this build. And now we're moving on to Sophie's room that Howl makes her. I feel like this room replicates Sophie really well. It's very simple and warm and friendly, but still vibrant. Like, I put bursts of colourful flowers in, and it's very girly. And of course, getting that harsh lighting away. Soft lighting just makes it look so warm and loved. Now we're moving on to the bathroom. I found this one a bit tricky because the only bathroom that you see is Howl'S very messy, full of potions and dyes and magical things bathroom that Sophie tries to clean, which I do that one upstairs, which you'll see in a moment. But yeah, I didn't really know what to do with the bathroom. I just sort of created a normal looking bathroom with a very old, warm, castle-y feel to it. And that's about it for the bathroom, really. I couldn't think of much more I could do with that. So that's downstairs all done. Oh yeah, I had this empty bit of room that I didn't know what to do with, so I just put some black flooring in there and some black walls and just made it hide. I tried to hide it, but I don't think I did it very well. But it didn't fit in, so I just had to try and get rid of it. Now we are building Howl'S room. This room was a bit tricky. I didn't know how I was going to do it. It was difficult, but it's one of my favourite rooms. I think it's just gorgeous. Oh, and you'll see I put some candles in there. I think the only lighting that I put in is some candles on the floor, and I put in a couple of hidden wall lights around. But I changed that light to green because I noticed in the film his room is very green. It has a real green hue to it, and I couldn't really recreate that without changing the light colour. So when you download this build, Howl'S room does have a green hue to it with the lights. But I made sure I showed that at the beginning of the film. I made sure I showed that at the beginning of the video with the little teasers. I don't really know what you call it. Is it show? Yeah, I guess you could say showcase. It's not really a teaser. Also, I bet you're thinking, there's a lot of these cabinets around. That's because there is. I found them so useful in this build. I think it's because they look really old and magical, like voodoo-y. There's loads of skulls and potions and random objects in the middle and the inside of them, and the shape of them is just lovely as well. So they ended up working perfectly, and I think I used them in pretty much every room, but especially this one, as it just lined the whole room. I did have them lining the room where the door the wall where the door is, but unfortunately, it ended up looking too much, because when you have half walls, so you know, when you can have like full wall, no wall, or half wall, the view, it looked really bulky, and you're not going to want to play in full walls all the time. And so I took them away. Oh yeah, I really loved having these fountains on the walls. I would never have thought to put them on there, but I think it looks awesome. And when I get rid of the harsh lighting, it really does set the mood for the whole room. It looks completely different when all the lighting's gone. And I add in those lovely candles. Oh yeah, here's the hidden lights that I put in. I wanted to give the walls a bit of a pop, so I thought I'd add those in, but it's most of the light comes from the floor with the floor candles. Oh, here are the mobiles that I was talking about. I did add them here to begin with, but then I took them away because it was just a lot easier for you to see what I'm doing and for me to see what I'm doing, so I ended up putting them back in at the end. Just adding in loads of little random trinkets just to make it really cluttered and fill up the space, because it's a really big room. I'm really pleased with how this room came out though. I didn't think it would be possible to make something look so cluttered. Oh, here come our gorgeous lights. See how much of a difference it makes? I think it just ties everything together. That warm little pops of lights. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it took me forever to find this map, by the way. I think it was like a good 2-3 minutes it took me. It doesn't sound like a long time, but when you're trying to find something it gets so frustrating. So I just cut that bit out. It's like, oh no, they're not going to want to see me try and find that for ages and get frustrated. I think I'm just adding in the finishing touches right about now. I should be putting... Oh, there we go. I was going to say I should be putting that ceiling stuff back in soon. If you notice in the film as well, he has a lot of stuff on his ceiling, so I'm so happy there was those mobiles. I never thought to use them before, but it worked perfectly. And now we are on to Howl's bathroom. His very dirty... dye magic ridden bathroom that poor Sophie has to clean. I wasn't sure on how I was going to do this because there's not like you can have dye splattered walls and flooring, so I used I think it was a rug, if I remember right. There's a rug that's like splattered food that's all multicolored and things like that, so I think that was what I thought that was what was going to work best, basically. It doesn't look exactly how I wanted it to, but I think that's as best as we're going to get, really. But I think it gets the point across nicely. And I'm sure if you've watched the film, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's the bathroom. That's his messy bathroom. Oh yeah, there we go. It's a shame there isn't any for the walls, because I feel like that really would have tied it all together and you'd be like, oh yeah, that's what that is. Not a load of oversized food all over the floor. I wanted to put loads of cracks and just general worn downness of this room, because I feel like it helps with that dirty, nasty feel to it. Gotta add a loo roll in, and that's that room done. Now this room I didn't know what to do with, because at this point I'd run out of room ideas, as you don't really see many rooms that are in the castle. So I sort of made this a grand library. It's a very simple room, really, if you think about it. It's just a load of bookshelves and a couple of seats, and that's it. But I feel like it still has that Howl'S Moving Castle feel to it, but it's a completely made up freestyle room that I made. So it definitely it isn't my favourite one. I think that's my least favourite room. Definitely. But it does the job as a filler. Another little calcifer fireplace, because you never know, he might want to read some books. Probably shouldn't touch them, because he'll make everything catch fire, but he can still read if he wants to. Just adding in some seats, which I want those seats in real life. Imagine that, you'd look so grand. So yeah, your Sims or Howl and Sophie can sit next to the fire, read their books. So romantic. Let me know what your favourite film is in the comments below, by the way. I'll be really interested. Also, sorry if I keep on going back and forth, like up and down, trying to like get stuff from other rooms. It's because it's so hard to find things. Sometimes it's just easier to go to another room and just pick it out and be like, ooh-doo-doo. It's not nice though when all the footage is really sped up and I'm going back and forth. So I'm sorry for that. This room's just another little filler room. It's just a hallway, so there's not much I could have really done with that. I just added a couple of bits of junk around, some flowers and books. And I did the same under the stairs as I did on the first floor. So I put a little painting, I put a chair and a little reading stand in there as well. Just fills out all those empty gaps, really. And that's the middle floor done. Oh, no, it's not. And that's the middle floor done. Now, the top floor. I think I struggled with this one the most, because it was such a huge room and I didn't have a clue what to put in it. This one was just completely freestyled and just a nightmare. But I think it looks okay. I feel like it still carries on the same feel as the rest of the house, or the rest of the castle. But it's meant to be sort of like a study room, and it will have an organ in there and easels, so it's a very artistic-y study room where you can sit there and learn about things. Magic and potions. Also, I'm sorry in this room if it seems very laggy. That's my fault. My computer's, she's a little old lady. She's a little old lady Sophie. I should just, I could call my computer Sophie. Little old Sophie. But it struggled a little bit with with me filming it, and I had Spotify going. It struggled a little bit. By the time it got to this point, yeah, I think she had enough. So yeah, I'm sorry if it seems a bit laggy and a bit juddery. I ended up making all the walls wooden. I think I liked it darker. I feel like the light felt, with the light walls it felt too empty. Just adding some more of that clutter in, as you well know, in this castle. It is loved. I made the clutter in this room mostly books because I felt like it would tie in more, because it is sort of like a study room, so makes sense really. I added in a couple of mirrors because I wanted to get a feel of each part of the rooms into this one room. So you sort of got the mirrors from Howl'S room, and then all the junk and things like that, and the table from the first room we made, and just little bits and bobs I took from the rest of the house to make this one room. I think those are my new favourite plants now. They seem to go with every build I do. Just adding some junk around the table. Some more little finishing touches to the place. I don't know why I added pots there. I felt like it just went with it. And of course my trusty rugs that have helped me through all of this. And here is our gorgeous pipe organ. I didn't know what to fill that corner with, and I feel like that ginormous thing worked so well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this build altogether. Remember, it is available to download on the Sims 4 gallery under the name Howl'S Moving Castle, or you can search my origin ID, PooBeee. If you'd enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I love you all very much, and bye bye!